Bom dia, this is Eileen and I've got 4 strategies that will help you find a property to rent here in Central Portugal. I viewed around 8 or 9 different properties lately, all between 300 and 650 euros a month. And I know that if you're moving to a different country, it can be a little bit daunting trying to figure out where you should start. So I hope that these tips can help you out a little bit, because this is what I have learned. First, ask around. I asked around a lot. I went to every local cafe. I asked them, hey, do you know someone who is renting out a place? I talked to the local people at the gym that I go to. I even asked people on the street. And to be honest, if they actually knew someone, they would call right away on the spot. And occasionally it happened that I could view the property either the same day or within the same minute. So definitely the human interaction is number one here in Portugal. Of course, it does help that I am already in Portugal. I have a car to my use and I do speak the language. I do think it's the most easy and also most fun way to find a place when you're here and talking to people. I noticed that people like to know you as a person. I viewed some houses that had been empty for quite a while. The owners weren't actually planning on renting the property, or they were, but they were a little bit apprehensive. But because I talked to them and I made, the effort to make a personal connection with them, they actually offered to rent a property to me. So I do think putting yourself out there, talking to people, building this, relationship of trust can really help you regardless of the language that you speak. I have met plenty of people that don't speak Portuguese that made the effort to talk to the people. Yeah, they got great properties here as well. Secondly, Facebook groups. They work like a charm. Nearly every town, village, region has Facebook groups either focused on housing or on events, support groups, some kind of like that. It's a great way to, stay in the loop of what is going on in a certain area, what events are going to take place. But then also you get a lot of messages of people that offer places for rent. So how do I do that? Usually I would go to Facebook, I would search in the search bar for the Portuguese word for rent or houses, and then with the name of the village that I'm interested in. So for example, I would search Arrendamento Ceia. Different groups would show up, I would join, and I would post a message telling people that I am interested or looking for a property, and that I think half of the properties that I've seen came from Facebook groups. So that's a great thing to do. Also to integrate and stay in the loop of what is going on in the area. Third are, of course, housing websites. We have Idealista, which you might know. Then there is OLX.pt, which is a website where you can either find properties that are for rent, but also people sell like secondhand furniture, cars, you name it. One tip about these online websites: often you come across ads that say that they have something for rent, but there's no picture. Don't let that scare you away. Just call and ask the people if they can maybe send some pictures of or just set up an appointment for a viewing. I've had it happen that I went to a viewing completely blank, just with the information of the rental price and the location. And they turned out to be pretty good options, but they just never got around putting pictures online. No pictures doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, and bad pictures doesn't necessarily mean the property is in a bad state either. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is contacting a real estate agent directly. Portugal has many real estate agents. Every town usually has multiple. Remax has a big one, but you can just Google which ones are around. You can contact them, let them know you're looking. I think this is mostly a good way for people who are still abroad and looking for a rental place here, because the real estate agent will be able to assist you a little bit better. Like for me, me, I am a European citizen, so I don't have to deal with visa applications or anything that comes with that. But if you do, I think that would be the best way for you maybe to find a property. There are multiple real estate agents that can all help you at the same time. So these are tips that really helped me in finding a place to rent for myself. Like I said, I went to view around 8 or 9. There are a few things that I took into account when I went to the viewings. First of all, the price. Of course, can I afford it? Most properties that I looked were between 300 euros a month and 650 euros a month, and all of them had a minimum of 1 bedroom. Most of them had 2. And then I would also look at, okay, how much are utilities going to cost me? How much will gas, light, water, firewood cost me if that is needed? Secondly, I would look at heating and insulation. A lot of properties, especially the old ones in Portugal, don't have central or electrical heating. So that is something to take into account. If they don't have that, I would look at, okay, does it have a wood stove or a fireplace? And if so, how insulated is the property? This past winter it was very cold and very wet. So it's definitely important to take heating into account. Also, accessibility. Where is it located? Do I need to go over a long dirt road to get to the house, or is the road paved? What are like the nearest supermarkets, hospitals, whatever is important to you? And lastly, for me personally, was internet. I work online, so a good internet connection is essential for me. Luckily enough, after the 2017 fires, a lot of villages got fiber internet, so that is great. But I also had one property where there was no good internet connection, and for me, that would just not be an option because then I wouldn't be able to work. These are my tips. I hope they help you. Like I said, just be active, make connections with people. So in next week's video, I'm going to show you 3 properties that I went to see that are for rent and are still available. So that might help you guys out a little bit in your search. Really nice places, incredible views. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe if you haven't yet. And I wish you the best of luck on finding something for rent or for sale, because soon I will be back with another few properties that are on the market for sale. Un bom dia!